We see then that the moon has rotated, but in particular what's interesting is the egg shape. So the lower right hand side is unusual in the sense it's not a clean cut. And we have the crater at 90 degrees, and several hours ago, 6 hours ago, it was straight down. Now I'll compare the two and put the picture slide side by side, and incidentally, that's the 22nd today of September 2013. Now, what has happened is, if you were to take a centre line from the moon centre straight out through that white impact, it would be pointing towards Nibiru. The reason is that it's been shielded by the mass of the Earth. So 6 hours ago, Nibiru would have been on the other side of the Earth, near the Sun, or in the same direction as the Sun, and it's getting very close to the Earth right now to have this effect. So as the moon is moving at around 1,000 miles per hour, it passes the line of the Earth where Nibiru was shielded by the Earth to go into the magnetic field of Nibiru, and then because of the iron core of the moon is 40 miles off centre. It's quite large, and it's permanent. That is why the one face of the Earth, one face of the moon rather, is always facing the Earth. However, a stronger magnetic field is pulling the side of the moon to rotate it, overcoming the gravity of the Earth. So we've got the Sun in the distance giving the light. You've got the Earth's magnetic field drawing the moon one face towards it. Then you have the Nibiru gigantic magnetic field close to the Earth that 6 hours ago was on the other side of the Earth, therefore it was giving the normal effect of the one face towards the Earth. Now that magnetic field is lined up past the magnetic field of the Earth, and that therefore causes the moon to twist. Now what's happened, if you were looking at the Sun and you're out on Mars, for example, and it was all lined up in an eclipse, the magnetic field of the Earth, normally the axis is tilted at 23.5 degrees, 4 degrees. Now, if you was looking at it from Mars, instead of being straight up and down and the tilt of the north axis point being towards you in a straight line, you wouldn't see it tilted. But now it's tilted to the left. This is what's causing the weather to be cool, and luckily, because the axis is also standing straight up. So it's no longer at 23.4 degrees. In addition, the Earth itself has a new North Pole down in Herne Bay near England, near London. So there's two effects happening there. Then you have the pull of Nibiru, which is causing all these effects to vary because of the position of the approach of this gigantic magnetic field. It's causing the wobble of the Earth. So the axis now is through Herne Bay near London, and instead of being at 24.3 degrees, it's probably almost upright, but bent, as you can see here, bent to the left or to the right, depending on the time of year. And of course your viewpoint from where you are in space. So you have three problems. Fortunately, if this axis hadn't have been stood straight up or near to it, the northern hemisphere would be baking hot right now and be getting hotter. So the indications are that this is what's happening, that's what's keeping the temperatures down. But if you go to about 942 miles off of New Zealand, it's freezing temperatures. Antarctica is not as cold as it was because it's got more light, and therefore the ice and snow is melting off of Antarctica. Now the level of water will not rise even if all of the ice in the world was to melt, because it's like a ship. Let us say you took a large ship, large container ship, and you filled it with ice. The ship sinks further in the water. When you get to the other end of your journey, the ice is melted. So now the ship is full of water, still floating at the same level. In other words, the water line on the outside of the ship would be the same. Then you pump all the water out, back into the sea. What happens to the sea level? Nothing. The ship rises. Likewise, Antarctica floats, and does America and everywhere else, every nation, every continent, is floating like a ship on the mantle. It varies, it's approximately 25 miles down. So as the ice is melted or pumped overboard off the ship rises up, floating higher because it's lighter. The water goes back down to this displaced ship volume, and the level of the sea remains exactly the same. So when they say that the ice is going to melt and it's going to raise up 2 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet, 20 feet, bullshit. Hasta la vista, baby.